My husband doesn't want to have intimacy with me unless it is to conceive kids. I have recently gotten married to my husband, Edward, 2 months ago. We both attended the same church ever since we were little, and I started to like him over the years. At 20, we started gradually talking to each other and got engaged at 24. My husband is very religious and never misses a service. I, too, am religious, but not as much as him. We both respect the other's choice and it's not really an issue between us. However, when we were dating and engaged, he didn't come near me in any way. For example, we rarely held hands, and he never hugged nor kissed me on the cheeks, even though it's a form of greeting that's very used in our culture. It bothered me a bit, but I think that he was doing it out of respect. The roller coaster was our wedding night. During the ceremony, we danced for the first time, we held hands, and when we got to our hotel we hugged and he kissed me for the first time on my lips. It wasn't like making out or anything, just a peck. That's it, nothing else. We didn't do anything more, not even cuddled. We just showered and went to sleep because we were extremely exhausted. Right when I was about to fall asleep when we were talking, he told me that he won't do anything unless it is to conceive kids. I wasn't sure of what to say, so I just remained silent and dozed off. This literally crushed my expectations. Of course, I understand that he doesn't want to do anything, but really? Not until we decide to have kids? Which is minimum 2 years away. I love my husband with all of my heart and I would never leave him, as he is the best and most respectful human being I've ever met and an amazing person overall, but I can't seem to accept this. Ever since I was a teen, I have been addicted to Wattpad and to spicy stories, so of course, I have always dreamt of my wedding night. I didn't really want to keep my expectations really high because I knew that it will most likely not come to reality, but I never thought that this could happen. I was disappointed for the rest of our honeymoon, which lasted a week. I know it's my fault for not talking to him about it, but I was really afraid of doing so. You see, in our culture, it's not appropriate for a woman to talk about these things, nor initiate intimacy. Plus Edward is religious, like I said, so I was afraid of him judging me if I did anything that he could consider unholy or whatever. I even tried to seduce him for the past couple of months, but he wouldn't look at me, not in a mean way, but he would just laugh it off and give me a peck or something like that. It's really starting to bug me because I have a somewhat high drive and really want to do things with him. I can't help it. I don't really know what's the reason behind this, and I don't know how to address the subject with him. Once more, I will not even consider leaving him, so please all advice will be appreciated. Update. So, after posting yesterday, I was literally bombarded by hundreds of comments suggesting that Edward might be a homosexual and using me to cover up his sexuality. I wasn't ready at all for such a possibility, and it had never crossed my mind actually. Compared to other people from our community, we are one of the few who aren't homophobic, and we previously discussed our sexualities before. I don't want to really get into this topic, but Edward was really honest with me at that time that he is straight and that he just can't picture himself being homosexual, religious or not. Besides, we both have online jobs, so we are together literally the whole time and have mutual friends, so I would quickly have noticed any suspicious behavior. Today, I decided to confront him like many of you suggested. I had been repeating my script in my head and went for it. We were both chilling after having lunch, so I asked him if he wanted to talk about lovemaking and intimacy. He said yes and was curious about what was bothering me. I was direct and simply asked him why he won't do anything with me unless it is for kids. Edward got genuinely surprised and confused by my question. At that moment I just wanted to disappear from this universe and evaporate. Because of the embarrassment, I am not physically able to recall how the conversation went exactly, but it turned out that he thought it wasn't normal to feel aroused around me, nor to make love unless for procreation. I felt really bad for him. Apparently, that's what he grew up thinking, and that's what his friends and environment he grew up in abused him into believing. I cannot imagine that they did this to him. I'm sure it was to make fun of him and mess around, which led to completely messing up his view on sexual matters and desires, and there is no way that they also believe in this themselves. This conversation went on for a couple of hours. I realized that it must have been very hard on him to talk about this specific topic, so we had a rest from this subject and took a nap. After that nap, he apologized for not talking about this with me beforehand. We discussed many other things, and the fact that he never displayed any affection before our wedding was due to his beliefs. And don't worry, we also talked about our wedding night, but basically, he got turned on every time he came near me, so he felt extremely ashamed of showing it or acting on it and thought I was just teasing him. He also didn't want to do something that could be considered bad according to what they fed his mind with. Not gonna lie, I expressed to him my resentment and the way he never asked for my opinion on this matter. He apologized again and said that he was afraid of what my reaction would be if he expressed himself. We tried to sort things out and we promised to start working on physical touch. Edward said that he would never do anything that could make me feel down ever again and that he will always be ready to answer all of my questions. This realization was really like a slap across the face for him, so I suggested going to therapy. He immediately agreed, and starting tomorrow we will look for a therapist. Going on Reddit wasn't really the best idea, but it really gave me a push. Having this conversation was definitely something we should have done sooner, way back when we were engaged. Also, to everyone telling me to leave, Just because the problem was about intimacy doesn't mean I would leave him, of course. If this took another turn and if I found out that he was cheating on me or lying, I would have immediately divorced him without looking back. I know that intimacy is very important to couples and healthy relationships, but if Edward is not comfortable and has issues with this matter, I have no choice but to understand him. He has always been there for me and always showed me his love and support, just not throughout physical ways, so the least I could do is understand him and respect his boundaries. Until we talk everything out, I will not pressure him into doing anything and would rather do it step by step. In the end, we cried together and laughed about ourselves. Then, he made us some snacks that we had while watching our favorite TV series. Now, Edward is sleeping right next to me, closer than usual. I feel happy about it even though it's not much, but definitely considered improvement. I also feel much more better than yesterday. There are still many things that we need to discuss and so many more steps to take. I think I might update our situation later on, but right now I would like to thank all the kind comments and nice people who tried to reach out and cheer me up. So yeah.